Welcome to Kids Academy.
Hello, welcome back. Today we have a new worksheet that is lots of fun. The name of our worksheet is called Find the Rule. The directions say check the correct rule for each function machine. So what we've got here is each one of these little different colored boxes are our function machines, and what we have to do is we have to find the rule that makes sense for each one of these machines. So let's start with the first one. We're going to start with this green function machine right here, and it says input and output on the other side. So input is what we start with in our machine. So let's start with that first number right here, the number 4, and our output is going to be 8. That's what we come out with when we're all done with our machine. So I'm going to turn this into an equation, and I'm going to have 4 at the beginning and 8 at the end of my equation. But what I need to figure out here is the rule that makes sense. What do we need for 4 to become 8? We have to find that rule. And we have a few options. We've got +3, +4, or +5. And you might already know the answer to this, but let's go through and see what makes sense. So let's first start with the top number. 4 plus 3 equals 8, okay? Does that make sense? 4, let's count on 5, 6, 7. Is that right? No, that one's not right, is it? So I know that that's not the correct answer. So I'm going to try again. Let's try the next one. We've got +4. 4 plus 4 equals 8. Does that make sense? Well, I know that that's correct because I remember my doubles. 4 plus 4 equals 8. So I know that's the correct answer, and that makes sense on our first equation, but the rule that we pick has to make sense for each one of these equations in our function machine. So I'm going to go on to the next one, and I'm going to plug this in because I think it's +4. So I've got 9 plus 4 equals 13. Does that make sense? Well, let's check. I'm going to count 4 up from 9, so I'm actually going to draw 4 dots. So I've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that correct? Yeah, that also works. So I'm sure it's going to work down here, but it's always a good idea to go back and make sure. So I've got 3 plus 4 equals 7, okay? So once again, I want to check. I'm going to count up from 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So this is my rule or my answer for this function machine right here, okay? So let's go on to the next one. Let's go to the purple one. We're going to start with 8. That's our input. We have to do something to 8 to make it equal my output, which is 6. All right, so I want to use my logical thinking. I want to think about what makes sense. If I have 8 and I end up with 6, that already, even if I don't know the answer, gives me a clue about the equation, okay? I know that I'm going to subtract to get 6, right? So I'm going to start with 8. I have to subtract or take away to get a smaller number. So I know it's going to be a subtraction. I know that for sure in my head, but I'm not sure, is it 2 or is it 4? So let's just plug in this first one right here, okay? 8 minus 2 equals 6. And let's go ahead and draw this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? And then I'm going to take away 2. 1, 2, and then I'm left with 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm left with 6. So that is the correct answer, but I want to make sure that it works on all of them. So I'm going to do 11 minus 2 equals 9. Let's see if this makes sense. Let's draw it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to take away 2. 1, 2, and I'm left with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is also correct. Let's do it again here. We've got 16, okay? We need to take away 2 is what we think it is, and that should leave us with 14. So does that make sense? 6 minus 2 is 4, 6, 5, 4, yep. And then we just bring the 1 down, so that is our answer. That is correct. So our answer is -2. Okay, now let's go down to our orange function machine down here, and we start with the number 10, okay, and we do something to get 3. What are we going to do? Are we going to take away 7? Are we going to add 7? Or are we going to subtract 8? What do you think the answer is going to be? At least what sign are we going to use? We start with 10, and then we end up with 3. Are we adding or subtracting? We are going to subtract, right? We have to subtract to get a lesser number than the number we start with. So I know it's either going to be minus 7 or minus 8. Let's start with the first one, minus 7. Let's see if this makes sense. Let's plug it in. Let's draw it out, or you know what? We could count on our fingers, couldn't we? Because it's 10 and we got 10 fingers. So let's do this. 10 minus 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which leaves us with what? 1, 2, 3. So is that correct? Yes, that is the answer. So I think that's going to be my rule, but let's try it again for 14. So 14 minus 7 equals 7. Does that make sense? Actually, I know that that makes sense because I remember my doubles. 7 plus 7 equals 14. And you remember that rule where everything kind of goes together? So that lets me know that 14 minus 7 equals 7. So I know that that one's already correct. I just knew that one. Let's go to the next one. The next one is 18 minus 7 equals, or should equal, 11. Okay, let's go ahead and count this out. Let's just draw it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now we're going to subtract 7, so count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We should be left with 11 if this is correct. So we've got 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So that is the correct answer. It is minus 7. So I'm going to put a check right over here. We're almost done. We're halfway through here. Let's go into the next one. The next one is 3, and then we have to do something to it to get the number 8. Are we going to add or are we going to subtract? 3 to 8, we go up, right? We have to add. So we're going to add something. I know that, but I'm not sure what. Let's find the 2 we've got here. We've got 4 and we've got 5. Let's start with 4 and see if that works. That's the first one that I see. So 3 plus 4 is 8. I don't know. Let's count. We've got 3. We have to add 4. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? Nope, that's not right, is it? So that's not the right answer. So I'm going to try again. I still know it's an addition one though, so let's see. Is there another option over here? Yep, there's 5. Let's add 5. We've got 3. We're going to count on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So that's probably going to be the answer, but let's just double check. Let's do 10, and then something is going to equal 15. Okay. I'm gonna think that it's 5, and actually, you know what? I already know that it's 5. You know how I know? Because I know how to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. So 10 plus 5 is 15, right? That's our next number, so I already know that's correct. What about 12 plus 5 equals 17? Is this the right answer? Well, let's just add it up to the side. 12 plus 5. Okay. I know 5, 6, 7, and then 1 is 17, so that's right. So this is my answer in this particular function machine is plus 5. I'm going to put the check right over here. And then I'm going to go down to my blue one. I've got input. Input starts with 2. We do something to it to get 13 equals 13. Are we adding or subtracting 2 to 13? We're going to add, right? Because it's a bigger number. So what am I going to add? Am I going to add 10 or 11? What do you think it is? Well, I know that if you take 10 and add the number to it, it's going to look a lot like this number. I think 10 plus 2 is going to be 12, so I'm going to think that it's 11. Let's try 11 and see if that's right. 11, I'm actually going to add on 2. So 11, 12, 13. Is that correct? Yeah, that's right, isn't it? So it's probably going to be correct with the rest of them. I want to double check at least just one more to make sure. So 5 plus 11 equals 16. Is this right? I don't know. Let's write it over here. I like to start with 11 plus 5. Okay. It's the same thing whether I put the 5 or the 11. And then 5 plus 1 is 6. Bring down the 1 is 16. So that's right. I know this is right. I'm not even going to check the last one. Once you get the hang of it, I think sometimes you can skip and not do every single one. But it's good to check at least one more. So I think this is correct. We've got plus 11 right here. Okay. And then we've got one more function machine. You're doing an awesome job. Let's do the next one. We've got 9. And then we have to do something to it to get, oh my gosh, 0. Just 0. What do you think that it's going to be? You might already know the answer to this because there's kind of a rule with 0. If we have 0, okay, and we end with 0, we have to take away that exact number to get 0, right? So we've got 9. We have to do something to get 0. I think that it's going to be 9. Okay, so let's try this. 9 minus 9 equals 0. Okay, and I'm going to do this on my fingers. I've got 9. I have to take away 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So I'm left with 0. So this is right. This is the right answer for this one. So now I have to see if it works with another one. This one's kind of tricky. Let's do 16 minus 9 equals, or it should equal, if we're right, 7. Okay, let's draw this one out with our dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then we're going to take away 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We should be left with 7. I've got 5 up here. 5, 6, 7. Is that right? Yeah, we got it right, didn't we? So I know that -9 is the correct answer. If we want to check one more just to be sure, we've got 18 minus 9 equals, and it says it's 9. And actually, I know that one's right because I know my doubles. 9 plus 9 equals 18. So if I take 18 and subtract 9, it's going to equal 9. So we did an awesome job today. Thank you for working through this with me and finding your rule for your function machines. Great job. I'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.
Hello, boys and girls. It's Teacher Mike here. And today we're going to be working on a fun subtraction worksheet. I'd like to go over a strategy I called counting back to make this worksheet a little bit easier. Let's review this strategy and then we'll try the worksheet together. For my strategy, we're going to be counting backwards. So for a problem like 7 minus 3, we're going to say the number 7 out loud. I like to touch my chin when I say the number to know that I'm not counting it in my subtraction problem. So let's try it together. 7 minus 3. We're going to say the number 7 out loud, 7. And then we'll count backwards till we get to 3. We'll use our fingers to help us keep track of how many times we're counting, and however many fingers we're holding up, well, that'll be the correct answer. Let's try it together. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, I landed on my number 3. How many fingers am I holding up? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 7 minus 3 equals 4. Let's use this strategy of counting back to answer these questions on this worksheet. Let's read the directions and get started right away. Subtract with the little penguin. Help the little penguin find his path to his mother. Draw a line to connect all the ice floes where the number 6 is the total. Okay, I think we should start where it says start. So our first problem is 13 minus 7. Let's use our counting back strategy again. 13. Remember, don't count 13. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, I landed on my target number of 7. Am I holding up 6 fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am. So this is a great place to start. Where are we going to move from here? I say we try all the numbers that are connected to this to see if 6 is the total. If it is, we'll draw a line. And if it's not, we'll know we have to try something else. So let's try 10 minus 4. Counting backwards again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Do I have up 6 fingers? Yes, I do. So let's draw a line from 13 minus 7 to 10 minus 4. Good start. So now from 10 minus 4, I have two choices. I can draw a line to 12 minus 6, or I can draw a line to 16 minus 8. Let's try 12 minus 6 first. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I landed on 6, and I have 6 fingers up. Counting backwards is a good strategy to make the subtraction go a lot faster. So let's draw a line from 10 minus 4 to 12 minus 6. Again, I have two choices. I can draw a line to 16 minus 10 or 17 minus 5. Let's try 17 minus 5 since we're working horizontally. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Already I see that I have way more than 6 fingers up. I don't think that 17 minus 5 is the right answer. Let's try 16 minus 10. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. 6 fingers up. This must be the correct answer. Let's draw a line to 16 minus 10. Now for this problem, I have 3 different choices. I can draw a line to 16 minus 8, but I already know that's not the right answer because I tried that for another problem. So I'm left with 12 minus 4 or 19 minus 13. Let's try 19 minus 13. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Does 19 minus 13 equal 6? I think so. I have 6 fingers up. Let's draw a line to 19 minus 13. Another place where I have 3 choices. I can draw a line to 11 minus 5, a line to 14 minus 7, or a line to 16 minus 9. Which one do you think is going to be equal to 6? Well, I know 16 minus 9 probably isn't the right answer. It's going to have too big of a difference. What about 11 minus 5? Let's try that one. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, I got to 5 and I have 6 fingers up. 11 minus 5 is definitely 6. So let's draw a line to 11 minus 5. Again, I have quite a few choices here. Can you do 13 minus 3 in your head? Because if you can, you would know that 13 minus 3 is just 10. Because 3 minus 3 is 0. So I don't think 13 minus 3 is the right answer. Let's try 17 minus 11. Counting backwards again. This is a skill that really tests your number fluency to see if you can count backwards really well. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. 6 fingers up. 17 minus 11 is 6. Nice job. So again, we have a few choices. We can draw a line to 14 minus 9, or we could draw a line to 16 minus 9, or we could draw a line to 15 minus 9. Which one do you think is going to equal 6? Well, I think 14 minus 9, well, that's not going to be enough. Those numbers are too close together. 16 minus 9, we already know those two numbers are too far away. So let's try 15 minus 9. Let's count backwards from 15 to 9. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. 6 fingers again. Excellent job. Let's draw a line to 15 minus 9 because 15 minus 9 equals 6. Now there's only one more place to draw a line to, so let's check our work just to be sure. Let's count backwards from 14 to 8. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. 6 fingers. We've now drawn a line to all the subtraction questions that have a difference of 6. Great job using the counting back strategy, boys and girls. Remember when you're subtracting, for example, like 7 minus 3 in our example, say the number, but don't count it. Touch your chin just to make sure. 7. And then count backwards to the other number, using your fingers to help. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Count the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 minus 3 is 4. Great job, boys and girls, using the counting back strategy with the penguin. We'll see you next time. Hello, boys and girls. It's Teacher Mike here again. And today we're going to be looking at a worksheet that asks us to figure out if we need to add or subtract to correctly complete the problem. Let's look at an example and I'll explain a really easy way that you can solve these kinds of problems. Let's take, for example, 7 plus or minus 3 equals 10. So one way you can solve these problems is by looking at the first and the last number. If the first number is smaller than the last number, meaning the last number is bigger, you need to do something to that first number to make it grow. Now, do we add or subtract to make things grow or get bigger? Well, of course we add. So if you see that the first number is smaller than your answer, you need to put an addition symbol. And that makes sense because 7 plus 3 equals 10. But if you have a problem like 7 plus or minus 3 equals 4, you can see in this problem the first number is actually bigger than the answer. So if we're making a number smaller, we need to take something away or subtract. So remember, if you have a bigger number than your first number, you need to add so that way you can grow the bigger number. And if your first number is bigger than your answer, you need to decrease that number or shrink it by taking something away and subtracting. Let's take a look at our examples in our worksheet. The directions say, for add and subtract, trace the correct dotted line to complete each equation with the missing operation, addition or subtraction. So in our first problem, we have 17 plus or minus 3 equals 20. So let's try that strategy I told you. Our first number is 17, and that is smaller than our answer of 20. So how are we going to take 17 and make it bigger so that it turns into a 20? Are we going to add 3 or take away 3? Well, of course, if we want to grow 17, make it bigger into 20, we're going to have to add. So let's trace that dotted line to the addition symbol. Let's try our next problem. We have 14 plus or minus 6 equals 8. In this example, our first number is 14 and our last number is 8. We all know that 14 is bigger than 8, so we have to take 14 and make it smaller because the answer is 8. So how do we make a number smaller? Do we add to it or do we take away or subtract it? Well, of course, we're going to have to subtract 6 from 14 in order to make it 8. So we will trace the line to subtraction. In our third example, we have 9 plus or minus 7 equals 16. Again, we have our starting number of 9 and our ending number of 16. Our answer of 16 is bigger than 9, so we have to grow 16 or make it bigger. We're going to have to add to it to turn 9 into 16. And 9 plus 7, just to check our work and prove it, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And that's the number we're looking for. Our fourth example has 11 plus or minus 4 equals 7. So we have our number of 11. And we need to shrink it so that way it turns into a 7. So if I'm turning 11 into a 7, am I adding to it or am I taking away? Well, I'm going to have to take away 4 to get to 7. So let's trace our line to subtraction. And in our final example, we have 16 plus or minus 7 equals 9. So this one we can do in our heads. 16 is bigger than 9. So to turn 16 into 9, do we add or do we take away? You're right. We have to take away to turn a bigger number into a smaller number. So 16 minus 7 equals 9. Boys and girls, remember, look at the first number and then look at your answer and decide, is this number growing and getting bigger, meaning you need to add, or is it shrinking and getting smaller, meaning you need to take away and subtract? Thanks for watching, boys and girls. We'll see you next time. Hello, boys and girls. It's Teacher Mike here again, and today we're going to be looking at some fact families in haunted houses. Now, fact families don't have to be that scary if you understand how they work. So let's take a look at a really nice, easy example, and then use what we've learned to answer the questions on the worksheet. So in this example fact family, we're going to have the numbers 10, 7, and 3. And the way a fact family works is that the numbers inside the fact family either add or subtract to equal one another. For example, 7 plus 3, our two bottom numbers, add together to equal 10. And we could flip that fact, and 3 plus 7 also adds together to equal 10. We can also subtract. We can subtract 10 minus 3, and we'll get 7. And if we took 10 and took away 7, can you guess what the answer is? That's right, it's 3. There are some equations that don't belong in the fact families that contain these numbers. For example, if you added 10 plus 3, you're not going to get 7. So 10 plus 3 does not belong in the fact family. And the same goes for 10 plus 7. 10 plus 7 does not equal 3, so this also does not belong in the fact family. Remember to also check your work when making sure an equation belongs inside the fact family. Let's read the directions and get started on our worksheet. Fact family, haunted houses. Look at these spooky haunted houses. Each house contains the numbers in a fact family. Tick the circles next to the ghost that show the sentences in each fact family. Remember, we're going to have to look carefully to make sure that these facts belong inside the fact family. So let's take a look at our first fact family. We have 20, 5, and 15. I always like to make my fact family triangle on my extra paper so that way I can really visualize what belongs inside the fact family. So let's take a look at this first problem. 20 minus 14. Already I'm starting to think to myself, this one doesn't belong inside the fact family because I see the number 14, and that's not a part of my fact family. So already I know that's not correct. Let's look at the next one. 15 plus 5. Okay, I see these two numbers on the bottom, so let's go ahead and add 15 plus 5 and see if we get our other number inside the fact family, which is 20. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 15 plus 5 does equal 20, so this equation, in fact, does belong inside of our fact family. Let's check the next one. 20 minus 5. Okay, I see that these numbers also belong inside my fact family, but let's do the subtraction just to make sure. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. 20 minus 5 is 15. So again, that's our other number inside the fact family. I'm pretty confident that 20 minus 5 belongs inside our fact family. Let's take a look at another problem. We have 13 plus 5. Again, the number 13 does not belong inside my fact family, so I know this is not an equation that belongs inside my fact family. Let's look at the next problem. 20 minus 6. Again, I see that 6, and the 6 is not a 20, a 5, or a 15, so this does not belong inside my fact family. And finally, we have 20 minus 15. And if I count it up from 15 to 20, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I have an answer of 5, And again, those three numbers, 5, 15, and 20, 5, 15, and 20, all belong in my fact family. So 20 minus 15 is an equation that belongs inside my fact family. Let's take a look at the second fact family on our worksheet. We have another fact family triangle that's represented by the numbers 14, 8, and 6. Remember, these numbers should add or subtract to equal one another inside the fact family. So let's take a look at our first problem. 8 plus 6. Okay, 8 plus 6 are two numbers that are inside the fact family. But let's make sure they add together to equal 14. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8 plus 6 equals 14. And these are the three numbers inside our fact family, so I believe that this is correct. Our next problem is 14 minus 8. Again, 14 and 8 are two numbers that belong inside the fact family, but let's subtract to make sure that the answer is 6. Let's count up. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Again, we have our answer of 6. So again, I know that these three numbers are inside my fact family, so this is correct. Let's look at the next problem, 8 plus 5. The number 5 does not belong in my fact family, so immediately I know this is not correct. Same goes for our next problem, 9 plus 6. The number 9 is not in our fact family, so I know this is not correct either. Moving along, we have 14 minus 6, two numbers that are in our fact family, but let's subtract just to make sure they equal 8. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. And again, those are the three numbers represented in our fact family, so this is correct. And lastly, we have 14 minus 5, and the number 5 does not belong in our fact family, so we know this is not correct. Remember, boys and girls, look to make sure all the numbers belong inside the fact family, and then add or subtract them together to make sure they equal the last number inside the fact family. Thanks for watching, boys and girls. We'll see you next time.
Hi, today we have a new worksheet. The name of the worksheet is called Practice Word Problem Addition and Subtraction. And the directions say solve the word problems and check the correct total. So a word problem is kind of like a little story. We're going to read through the story, but then we need to figure out what we need to do with the numbers in our story. Do we add? Do we subtract? What do we do? So let's go ahead and start. Let's read through the first question here. The first question says, at the zoo, Alex took 12 pictures at the monkey house and 28 pictures at the polar display. He used 18 of these pictures in his photo album. How many pictures did he not use? So, what it looks like we need to do is we need to determine how many pictures that Alex took all together, and then we're going to subtract 18 from that to find out how many that he did not use. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We need to write out this problem, so we're going to solve this by writing it out off to the side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write Alex took 12 pictures, so I'm going to start with 12, and he also took 28 pictures at the polar display. Okay, so I need to add those two together to find out how many pictures he took total. So 8 plus 2 is 10, okay, and I'm going to need to carry the 1 over here. And then 1 plus 2 is 3, but don't forget to add the 1, would be 4. So he took all together, he took 40 pictures. But then it says he used 18 of these pictures in his photo album. So if he used them in his photo album, we have to subtract them because they want to know how many is left over. So 40 minus, now we have to subtract 18, okay? So let's set that up.
So 0 minus 8. Well, you can't take 8 away from 0 because 0 is the smaller number. So what we need to do is we need to make this 0 a bigger number. So the way we do that is we come over to the 4 over here, and we're going to borrow from the 4. We're going to turn that into a 3. So we're taking 1 from the 4, and we're going to add it over here to our 0 to make 10. So 10 minus 8 is 2. And then 3 minus 1 is 2. So that's 22. That should be our answer. But sometimes I can make mistakes when I'm doing my subtraction, especially if I'm carrying and borrowing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double check. I'm going to make sure 40 minus 18 is 22. The way I'm going to do it is I'm actually going to add 18 and 22 together off to the side. And if it equals 40, then I did my calculations correct. So over here, off to the side, I'm just going to double check my answer. 18 plus 22. Well, 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 1 is 4, which is 40. So that means that I did that correct. So that's my answer. So over here, how many pictures did he not use? 22. There's my answer. And it says we need to check the correct total. So I'm going to put a check mark right there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to do the next one. So we need to read through the next one. It looks like we've got muffins on this one. I like muffins. And we're going to try to read through the story and then find out what it is that we need to do in our story. So it says there were 340 blueberry muffins and 250 strawberry muffins in the zoo cafeteria. Children ate 500 muffins. Ooh, that's a lot of muffins. How many muffins did the zoo cafeteria have left? So what we need to do now on this problem is we need to find the total number of muffins between the blueberry and the strawberry, and then we need to subtract 500 to find out how many are left. So once again, these are big numbers, but we need to set up a problem so that we can find our answer. So here we're going to write 340, that's the blueberry muffins, okay? And we're adding this together to find our total. And then it says we also need how many? 250 strawberry muffins, okay? So 250 strawberry muffins. We're going to add those up. So 0 plus 0, well, that's easy. That's 0. And then 5 plus 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 9. And then 3 plus 2, so 3, 4, 5. Okay, so my total number of muffins that the cafeteria made was 590 muffins. But then it says children ate 500 muffins. So if they ate them, do we add on or do we take away? We take away. When they eat them, it's going to be a subtraction problem. So we need to subtract from the total number of muffins 500. It says the kids or the children ate 500. Okay, so let's set that up. 0 minus 0 is 0. 9 minus 0 is 9. So far this is pretty easy. And then 5 minus 5 is 0. But since this is in the hundreds place, we don't need to write that down. So we're just going to leave that. We know it's 0. There's nothing there. So our total is 90. That's how many muffins the zoo cafeteria had left after the children ate the muffins. So let's come over and find our answer. 50, 90, there it is. There's 90. And you know what I notice over here is they had the number 500. That was kind of tricking us, didn't it? Because 500 we use. Sometimes they like to use some of the numbers that we're going to use to trick you. But as long as we go through the answers and remember what it is that we're looking for, we'll find the right answer. So the answer was 90 on that one. Great job, guys.
Hey everybody, I'm Ramiro. I need to prepare a birthday present for my friend, Sea Turtle. A seashell necklace will make a perfect present. Will you help me find and count seashells for the necklace? Great. Say, how many seashells can you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not enough to make a necklace. See any more seashells? right! There are 6 in the sand. How many shells have we got now? Well, let's see. We started with 5 and added 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 6 more makes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 seashells in all. Let's go have a peek under that stone. Great! There are 4 seashells here. Let's add them all together. 11 plus 4 more makes how many seashells? 12, 13, 14, 15. So we found 15 seashells so far. Good work. There are 5 more seashells near those seaweed strips. Now that we found 5 more, how many seashells have we got in all? 15 plus 5 more makes 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 seashells in all. That's enough to make a beautiful necklace. Thanks for helping me find and count the seashells. Bye-bye. Subscribe to our channel to stay updated on new videos. Find links to our apps in the comments below.